Hello and welcome back to this next segment of my conversation with Sarah Michelle Bliss. We call this The Power to Heal Your Life. And in this segment, we'll explore the emotional ebbs and flows that come from hiding while pretending to be just fine. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, and this is From Upside Down to Right Side Up, Tips for the Transition. It is my honor to share inspiring stories like Sarah Michelle's. These women have figured out how to move through life's inevitable trials and tribulations and come out on top in triumph. They help us to know that we're not alone when our world turns upside down. Sarah shared her turning point when she knew if she didn't take control soon, her life would end badly, and what she did to start moving upward. So next, we're going to go deeper into the emotions that came up for her and how she got through them. Hello, Sarah Michelle.
Hi, Maria. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to be here.
I believe that although our stories may be different than yours, the emotions you struggled with and how you overcame them will resonate highly with many women. So would you share that part of your story with us?
Yes, absolutely. So I think I touched on having anxiety, depression, judgment. There was a lot of anger as well. Anger at myself, anger at my upbringing, being a victim and why is this happening to me? I used to have this saying that when my ship sails or my ship comes in, right, all of this happiness and peace, and I'll be rid of all of these feelings, the ugly feelings. And while I sought out to get help, it wasn't easy. I mean, it took years and a committed effort, and there were times that it was downright hard, and it was self-absorbing because you have to literally turn yourself inside out, and it's like peeling the layers of an onion, right? You get one layer done, and then there's more to go, right? And so it took years of therapy. I did hypnotherapy, I did coaching, I did all kinds of different things. I met with different people, I joined groups, I had mentors, and when it really boiled down to, I think the biggest healing thing that I did for me is that I wrote a book. And that was something I knew I wanted to write a book since I was 8 years old. And I'd been talking about it for years and years. And I had the name of my book when I was about 15 years old and had the vision of the cover in my head. So I already knew. And I had been collecting topics over the years of things I wanted to share and write about. And I very much believed that if I grew up and had the opportunity to share my story, and if it made a difference in one person's life, then all this ugly, nasty, awful stuff that happened to me as a kid, it didn't happen in vain if I could change one person's life by sharing my story. And so I sought out, I finally said to myself, are you going to write this book? Or if you're not, then let's stop talking about it, and it's not a goal anymore, and that's okay. So I decided I would commit 90 days to writing the book. And it was probably the deepest healing that I did, and the most cathartic thing that I could do was to write my story and speak my truth, and speak the truth about really what happened to me from a child, as an adult, all of the really difficult things I'd been through. And the process of that led me down a path to something I never would have thought would have been the end results, and that was finding forgiveness. And really getting into what that means. And forgiveness to me doesn't mean you let someone off the hook for what they did to you. It simply means that you take back your power and stop being the prisoner. And so taking back our power and not being a victim is huge, especially if you've suffered trauma. And I think we're hard pressed to meet anyone these days who doesn't have a story, doesn't have something that was painful and traumatic. So for me, that was the best part of healing, was writing my story. And I went into it with the idea that I'm doing this for me, and if no one ever reads it, that's okay. I'm doing it for me.
Wow. What's the name? I say that a lot. Wow. I'm just I'm so interested in other people's journeys. What's the name of your book, first of all?
It's called Tales of Fried Bologna, A Journey to Forgiveness.
Tales of Fried Bologna, A Journey to Forgiveness.
Have you ever eaten fried bologna?
Bologna is not one of my favorite things, I
So
must admit.
the normal response I get is either people go, "Oh, I feel you. I know what fried bologna is," or they go, "Ew, why would you ever eat fried bologna?" So those are typically the two responses I get. And the people who say, "I feel you," they understand my path in life. And so the goal with the book was that each chapter is, and the journey to forgiveness was added after the book was finished. So Tales of Fried Bologna was the name of the book. Again, I decided that at 15 years old. And so the idea was that each chapter was a story or a tale within itself. And so that was the objective with the story.
That's beautiful. And I'm so glad you published it so that others could benefit from that. I'm so glad you did that. All right. So you've been through a roller coaster of emotions, and you shared with us that you did a number of things to start the healing process. You talked to people, you worked with coaches and mentors. I love that you worked with mentors, people who've been where you've been and can help you by sharing their own journey, their story with you. So again, you're not alone, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's especially when you feel like you're going to be alone for the rest of your life, and then you meet people that have similar stories or have experienced similar things, and you see how they survive it. It gives you courage and hope.
And some steps to take. I call it putting tools in your treasure chest. So you can always pull those tools out no matter what happens to you at some future point. There are
Absolutely.
always tools in your treasure chest. Thank you so much, Sarah Michelle, for bearing your soul to us so vulnerably. It's a hard word to say this morning. This journey of yours, I feel like it paid off in spades for you, because I know you developed a process of healing from this and a process of finding forgiveness. So I would love for you to share that process with us in our next segment. Would you do that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, stay tuned, everyone, because she's going to share some lessons and some steps that you can potentially use for yourself. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan. Till next time.